The Motown phenom Kevin Lee, thank you so much for joining me today. You are competing against Tony Ferguson this Saturday for the UFC interim belt. And you know, some other lightweights have expressed their concerns or their disagreement with the fact that you got this title shot. Why do you believe the UFC called you up to face Tony Ferguson?
I think it was the right time, right place. I don't see anybody else that would have. I feel like I've earned this, not just through talking. You know, people say I talked my way into it. I talked into it because I said yes. They called me, they said do you want to fight Tony? I said yes. Like, hell yeah. I was gonna fight the man anyway. All the rest of these dudes, they just don't want to fight. Nobody wanted to fight Tony. Not even the guy who's walking around claiming that he's the champion. He didn't want to fight Tony. So I feel like I said yes, but then I've got the resume to back it up too. I've lost one fight in the last 10 UFC fights. And when it was a fluke loss, I think everybody can kind of see that and know that. And I've learned more from that fight than any other, and I've proven that from time to time again. And I beat all the guys that nobody wanted to fight. I've had to take the long road here, and it's been a long time coming.
Talk to me about, you know, that people think, oh, you spoke your way into this. It all kind of started with Tony backstage after you beat Michael Chiesa.
All you're doing is this, man.
You're talking to somebody with more fights in the same amount of time as you.
So that's really a time where, yes, of course, people call one another out, but it doesn't get animosity the way you two had it between backstage and on camera in Los Angeles. What was that whole deal like for you? You're very easygoing, but knowing you could tell that got a reaction out of you.
Yeah. You know, I still got that little. Look, you can take me out of the hood, but you can't take. I'm sorry. When somebody show me disrespect like that, like I just give people the real me and how I really feel in that moment. Even in that moment, like I didn't care if one person was watching, I didn't care if 1 million people, I don't care if 100 million. I'm still gonna get the same thing. So when he showed me disrespect, I always showed Tony nothing but respect. And after this, on Saturday night, he gonna have no choice but to show me respect. I'll tell you that.
But what about the other moments between you two that maybe not everyone knows about?
Yeah, it's been a bunch of like that ain't on camera, that nobody know. And I've texted him too. I've texted him and say, hey, look, I'll give you my address. We can get it in. Look, I don't care if it's in T-Mobile Arena for a world title with 20,000 people in the building, or if it's just in my backyard. It's like, we gonna get it in. So I feel like it was coming either way. If it just so happened to be for a world title, as it rightfully should, then that's what it is. You know, people walk around like Conor talk about he the world champ, and he got one fight in this division, and that's against Eddie. You know, like Tony's got 12 fights. He's been a #1 contender for a long time, over Khabib, over everybody else. And I feel like I've got 10. I don't know who's behind me.
So for those who think like maybe you and Tony, when you have these words between one another and they think like, oh, you're both getting fired up. You're not necessarily fired up. You enjoy it, I take, but you're pretty calm about it.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm from Detroit. Like I talk and then I fight people. That's where you really seeing the real me, like me having fun. Like I'm going out there, and I said that's what fighting is for me. I'm living in that moment. That's why I do it so often. That's why I love it. And, you know, like I'm 25, but I got more fights than anybody else in this division. And it's for a reason. It's because this is what I love to do. This is where I feel best at. And I think consistency is a big part of being a champion.
Obviously, you guys aren't going to be friends, right? But you have a lot of respect for what he's done inside the octagon. When you look at him as an opponent, you say he is the rightful #1 contender, but where do you feel like, hey, I've got this, I'm better than him in these aspects?
Yeah, when I look at it, like him from a technical standpoint, he's still got a lot of holes, and I don't think he's really filled up those holes. Tony kind of full of himself. I don't think he goes back after. And look, for me, win, lose, or draw, I go back, I reassess my game, I say, where did I do right, what did I do wrong, and I make those adjustments, and I don't think he do that. And I think that's what's really gonna show is that I'm still evolving, I'm still gaining in this sport, and I feel like he's been stagnant for the last couple years. He's been hanging on that chin. He do got great cardio, and he got a great mindset, and he got a lot of heart. But it's gonna take a lot more than that to beat me. I'm sorry.
What about that unorthodox style and those weird approaches he takes inside the octagon?
Yeah, he do a bunch of weird stuff just because I feel like he don't fix the stuff that he's done wrong, you know what I mean? Like he don't fix the small things. So instead he makes up for it by big moves, a lot of flashy stuff, and just trying to throw you off. But I'm gonna just stay smart. I'm gonna stick to the game plan. I think that's what a real championship level fighter do. It showed that I'm able to handle any style. I'm able to change up my styles, and I'm gonna adapt to anything that he throws at me. It ain't gonna be nothing under the sun that he can throw at me that I ain't seen before. You know, he might be able to do some weird rolls and all this, but I've seen all that already. Like, it ain't gonna be nothing different.
You mentioned the game plan, and that's obviously your coaches and you all working together to figure out what the right approach is. And one of your coaches, your head coach, is Robert Follis of Extreme Couture. What does he bring to the table for you and all the training partners at Extreme Couture?
Rob, in particular, he's brought my game to that next level. The mindset for him. You know, he's somebody, it all starts up here. It all starts up here for me, and I feel like it's the same way with him. And he's steady evolving as a coach. You know, he's been doing this for 20 years, and at a very high level. He's coached multiple world champions. So when I surround myself with somebody that's already done that, been there and done that, I got so many world champions here in Vegas that I train with on a daily basis, and I see what they do. I see what got them there. That's the kind of that I do, that I study the game. I think a lot of people just think I'm just going out there and just feeling, which there is that part too. But you know, that mindset is a big piece, and Robert Follis has been huge in that. I said it, like I'm just the car, like Rob's the driver. You know, I got Dewey who's like, you know, putting the gas in. He's the horsepower, and then I got Corey Goodwin, who's been working with me, and he's like the maintenance man. He makes sure that my body is right. He's my strength and conditioning coach. He keeps everything like running like pristine. So, you know, I got a whole team behind me. It ain't just me. It ain't just me out here doing it.
How does the UFC Performance Institute fit into the equation of fight preparation for you?
Yeah, you know, I've done my last 2 training camps there basically. Is huge. You know, Tony talked about, I think he trained up at Big Bear, and he talked about like running with the coyotes and the lions and climbing the mountains and all that. There's a reason why cavemen are extinct, you know? There's a reason why they ain't still around. We on some next level over here. Like, you know, I'm in there. You see me, I'm in there like constantly. I'm in and out, always kind of tending to my body and listening to it. And I feel like that's really what's gonna show is my approach to the game is a lot smarter. It's a lot, it just makes more sense. So, you know, all that, what Tony doing is just gonna let him take a longer ass whooping. So, yeah, he can have all the cardio in the world.
What can we expect from you on Saturday?
The next generation. The folks already know. I've been saying it for years. I'm happy I got this fight. I want the toughest challenge. Nobody wanted to fight Tony Ferguson. The man is a dog. He gonna stay in there. He gonna stay in there for 25 minutes if I let him. So hopefully he do, and I really showcased to everybody. I was kind of upset that fight with Mike Chiesa where I had the most attention. Mike got up out there in the first round. And it's just like, you know, hey, I wanted to show a little bit more to the folks. So hopefully Tony can handle the power, he can handle the wrestling, he can handle the speed, and he can stay around.
And unify the belt with Conor McGregor?
After this one, I might give Conor a shot. We'll see. We'll see if Conor is worthy. As far as I'm concerned, the man lost his last 3 out of his last 4 fights. He's got 1 fight, he beat Eddie. Kudos, but he just got out-wrestled by a man that's 40 years old, coming out of retirement, and is a boxer. And he was out-wrestling him in the clinches. And Conor, Floyd's this big. Come on, man. Once I get my hands on Conor, it's going to be a wrap.
I'm interested to see how this all is going to play out. You are competing in T-Mobile Arena against Tony Ferguson. Before I let you go, we're here on the Strip doing this interview, one Las Vegas resident to another. It feels remiss if I didn't ask you if you felt like you were fighting for a little bit more for this city this weekend. You live here, this is your home.
Yeah, I heard about everything on Monday. I was over in LA, and that was like my media day where I was supposed to go out and talk about the fight, and I couldn't even talk about the fight. And it's even hard for me to talk about the fight now, just because my mind is on everything else. It's so much bigger to even this fight. Like, yeah, me and Tony, we might have these back and forths. Like, he might show me disrespect, I might show it to him. But at the end of the day, I want him to go home, be happy with his family, because that's what it's really about. He's gonna be a little disappointed in the result, but I wish him nothing but the best and a happy life. And I hope he do the same, and I hope the same for everybody. I think on Saturday night, it's gonna be kind of a celebration for me. It's gonna be a celebration of life. And that's what it really should be.
And it'll be the first big event in Las Vegas, and I know that you will be honored and proud to be a part of it. Kevin, best of luck to you. It is always so fun to talk to you. You're such a pleasure in these lead up to the fights. You always have something interesting to say. So good luck against Tony Ferguson for that interim lightweight belt. We'll be there.
You know it. Thank you.